I think I'd want to watch on stream though.
Overwatch was once the future of esports.
Our goal is to create the world's premier esport league.
Hey, you did it.
Teams and players can thrive for years to come, and fans are made for life.
Blizzard, esports fans, and even casual players, everyone was hyped.
I used to love Overwatch. I was definitely in that group.
I said, all you ready?
But just a few years later, the hype
Thanks, your sub Ghost.
and the game might be dying.
I would rather do push-ups. I would rather lose weight. I would rather run a mile. Things like that. Those are some things I'd rather do than play Overwatch right now in this minute, because it is boring as F.
Overwatch is boring as F.
There's also a big change that the
Game's
OS
just
League
really
is gonna
fucking
die
boring.
completely.
How about you balance your game instead next time?
Oh my god, I hate this game.
So we have
It's honestly hard for Blizzard to listen to fan feedback though when they have to sexually assault women at the office. Like, it's a hard balancing act they have to perform where it's like, hey, we have to work on the game, but we also have to sexually assault our employees, you know, with one or the other.
Between the alleged multi-million-dollar buy-ins, local game days for city-based teams, and the involvement of some of the biggest organizations in professional sports, it really did seem like the Overwatch League was going to be the future.
Overwatch League was the future. It was so close too.
It all
So close.
collapsed.
So they brought in
Decisions,
DJ Khaled.
neglect, and just plain bad luck torched what should have been one of the biggest esports in the world, leaving everyone disappointed. But how did we get here? Because all the way back in 2014, when Overwatch was announced, it looked like one of the most exciting games we'd seen in a long time. Overwatch promised a different take on FPS games. It was more colorful, drew some mechanics from MOBAs, and just generally seemed like a new approach to a genre that was often intimidating.
It was pretty fresh. I mean,
And
yeah.
at first,
It was fun.
seemed like
I used to
Blizzard's
like it.
bet paid off. 9.7 million players logged on to Overwatch's open beta in 2016. And just a few months after launch, the game had 20 million registered players. Overwatch quickly developed a small, mostly unofficial esports scene, but Blizzard had something bigger in mind.
Blizzard Entertainment is proud to announce the Overwatch League, a global world-class esport league designed from the ground up to celebrate the best of the best on their path to victory.
The biggest crime
The
Overwatch
League
committed was
promised to
killing
revolutionize
lawbreakers.
The future of esports with a city-based franchise format.
Yeah, if only lawbreakers had a better
This
launch.
was unheard of in esports. But what was even crazier was the alleged buy-in. According to former ESPN reporter Jacob Wolf, Blizzard was allegedly asking for $20 million for each franchise
What?
in the Overwatch League. Backed by major esports teams and huge investors.
20
sports,
mil?
Like the Kraft family, who owned the New England Patriots, among other sports teams.
We see it as a great opportunity, and what I like about it more than anything is
He's a tier 1
that it's a way to
Imsin
connect
and the resub
globally.
Ghosted Mark.
At first, the confidence seemed earned. People were genuinely excited for the OWL. Viewership was solid, the venue was always packed, and people seemed to like cheering for their home teams. Over 300,000 people watched the London Spitfire become the first ever Overwatch League champions, with 20,000 more fans in attendance.
Getting those shots in, taking a jump on the shots.
I didn't watch.
London gets the main tank. Neptuno can't get there to res him. They only need one tick. They are so close.
Who did XQC used to play for?
And London Spitfire,
Was it the Sentinels?
they will fly high.
Thanks for Prime, Steve. It was the Fuel?
Heading out of season
Okay,
one,
okay.
it seemed
That
like
was
the
Fuel.
Overwatch League was poised for massive success. But then, everything went wrong. So how exactly did Overwatch go from
There's
hype
Prime
to
City.
hated so quickly? Well, first, Blizzard seemed to have no idea how to balance their game.
What's up, everyone? This is Jeff here
Jeff.
with another developer update to tell you about something super awesome, which is big changes coming for Mercy.
For example, when Blizzard tried to rework Mercy's Resurrect Ultimate, they unintentionally buffed her to must-pick or throwing status. The Mercy meta took over the game, and it's not hard to see why. Just look at Muselk res 3 times in 15 seconds.
Ready to go? I'm not seeing
You going to bed?
Hey, there you go. Hey!
And he's back again. There you go. Okay, and then you're back again, boy.
Thank you.
Infinite resuscitation.
That's another
oh boy.
Seems like a cool change.
Okay, and give me just 1 second, and we're back again, boys.
Blizzard nerfed Mercy into the ground after that. But then, they made things worse.
Goats?
Goats. Goats.
It's a goat. I think it's a goat.
Can you explain what goats is?
Jesus
We've
Christ.
talked about goats plenty of times before, but basically, Blizzard accidentally balanced the game in such a way that the optimal comp at a high level was 3 tanks, 3 healers, and no DPS. The death ball of beefy health bars, big shields, and endless healing ran over or
I stopped playing after season... what? Would have been like season 3? Season 2 or 3? So I don't think I ever saw this. Wow, this looks fucking boring. Holy shit.
One of the big problems with this is that Goats was boring as hell to watch.
That's what I was
None
saying.
of the Goats heroes required any actual skill to use beyond timing.
Back in the beta, you had mechanically demanding heroes, i.e. you have to click on...
I missed season 1 of Overwatch. It really was so much fun.
With, you know,
you used to go
Widowmaker,
6
Tracer,
Winston when you were
right,
getting
with
desperate on
mechanically players
attack.
shine.
Oh, it was so
But then
goofy.
they kept adding in heroes that could displace.
Just a genuinely
They added in
good
heroes
time.
that had barriers.
Needless to say, the Overwatch League suffered as a result of Goats. It wasn't just boring to watch, it also sucked to play, and the player base got bored and pissed.
I would rather do push-ups. I would rather...
The beta in the first
lose
season,
weight.
yeah.
I would rather run a mile. Things like that, those are some things I'd rather do than play Overwatch right now in this meta, because it is boring as F.
We do see the Outlaws are going to pull out Dante's Tracer. This has been some of the things that Outlaws fans have been waiting for is a good Tracer
What's the
player
story of Sky
on
King?
Houston.
Yeah, maybe in a
It's
minute.
Jake on the far. This combo's worked well for them before, but as soon as they see the defensive setup, they will just simply swap it away. Crucial time lost here for the Outlaws.
That's cute. What?
I'm just letting the fans give their the fans here in the studio give their opinion.
Well, you know, you want your team to win, right? They're going to have to play what's meta.
Pro DPS players were left out of Goats and found themselves out of a job.
방황을 했죠. 어떻게 보면은 저 혼자 좀 생각을 많이 하는 시간을 갖게 됐었어요. 그때 그러다 보니까 계속 연습하긴 했거든요. 근데 뭐 쉽게 기회는 찾아오지 않긴 하더라고요.
And so you're gonna have guys like, you know, Tavik, IDDQD, like all these.
Why not
these,
just limit it to
pure
roles?
damage
That's what they
dealer
did do.
guys. They're just gonna fall off because you're going to instead lean
That's
into
what
the
they
guys
have
who
now.
play the Mei or
There's the Prime
who can play
Senpai.
those kinds of multi-role heroes that get lumped into damage,
There's a Glyn.
and then all of a sudden, well, there you are. You're not going to see the damage dealers. You're going to see the Meis.
That ruined the game even more.
And
Yeah.
nobody wants to see the Meis. Sorry, it's just not exciting.
Remember, Overwatch was supposed to be a fresh take on FPS games, but with Goats, it wasn't even really a shooter anymore. The game lost its soul, but that's not all it lost. In
Yep, we already
2020,
watched the new
Blizzard
Channel
cut
5.
a $160 million deal with YouTube.
What?
Overwatch League streams exclusively to that platform
What?
instead of broadcasting on Twitch.
They made this deal in 2020. Overwatch was already on its way out at that time, right? The game's been dead for... Actually, I'm curious. How long has Overwatch been dead for? I feel like it's been dead for quite a while. This deal came so... YouTube got fucked. Let's see. Where would I find the accurate player count numbers? Here we go. Here's a tracker that goes year by year. No, by February 2020, it was still holding. Looks to be like roughly 5 mil active. So it wasn't like super dead at that time. It was in the middle of dropping though. Like it was already coming down when they signed this deal. Assuming this is even like an accurate chart. But yeah, I definitely remember in 2020 it was already becoming a joke. I'll just assume this is kind of accurate.
Fans hated this decision, and Overwatch League's peak viewership dropped significantly.
And so when you're not on Twitch, all of a sudden you're going to lose that click-through traffic of just people kind of who are idling or doing something else, working, you know, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you know, it's like, it's not quite the same thing with YouTube. It's harder to find the channel. You're not just going to, you know, click into YouTube. I don't even know, like, I mean, there's people that stream on YouTube. I never see them. And so that's going to be a frustrating thing. It's like when Facebook was a thing, right? Facebook streaming thing. You know, numbers went off a cliff. Same thing.
Pandemic was helping
when
it?
you're not on Twitch, it's going to be, you're
Did it
choosing
get bigger during the pandemic? I doubt it.
So the meta sucked.
I feel like most people
viewership was
chose different
toilet.
games.
What else could go wrong? Well, remember how the Overwatch League was supposed to be a city-based league? By 2020, that still hadn't happened. Blizzard had plans to have teams fly internationally for home and away games, but that just seemed too ambitious for, well, everyone.
Well, according to a report from Upcomer, the London Spitfire will...
Yeah, look at this. January 6, 2020, they're already talking about his Overwatch dying. And then YouTube signs a $160 million deal a month later.
apparently have to travel
I thought so. I knew it was already on its way out.
76,923 miles during Season 3. And according to that same report, the Boston Uprising will have to travel an estimated 71,460 miles as well.
Flying all over the world all season long is stressful. And most pros prefer the idea of just staying home all day and streaming on Twitch instead. After all, they'd probably pick up more views than the Overwatch League would on YouTube. Players began retiring ahead of the planned home and away game format, many of them moving to Valorant, Riot's newly announced tactical shooter that looked like it was angling for Overwatch's player base.
I think if anything, Overwatch was just like a stepping stone to get here where I am now, because now I just feel at home, man. I'm playing a game that's like a hybrid of like CS and Overwatch.
It's easy to say that Valorant like finally put the last nail in Overwatch's coffin.
And yeah, I've heard of that game before,
honest,
Breezy. It
Blizzard
makes the resub
itself
sashy
is
and
to blame
cynical.
for the game's downfall. When Overwatch came out in 2016, Blizzard was one of the most beloved companies in gaming. Since then, their reputation has been destroyed by scandals, baffling business decisions, and the reveal that women employees are treated horribly at the company. Balance issues and weird league format that didn't end up actually happening because of COVID.
That will do it.
A lot of people just didn't want to play Blizzard games anymore. But Blizzard wants people to remember the good old days of 2016, when they were hyped for a new Overwatch game.
Monsieur, does this mean Overwatch is back?
No, it's dead. It's in the ground. We buried it. It's done. It's not coming back. We canceled Overwatch 2 as well.
Yes. Yes, we are.
Whee! That's right, they announced Overwatch 2. But why? Fans asked why there even needed to be an Overwatch 2 when features are added to Overwatch 1 all the time. They thought it was a money grab, making people pay $50 to keep playing literally the same thing with an updated UI.
I mean, dude, you're dealing with the stone cold killer Violet.
Same game.
Overwatch 2 was Blizzard finally delivering the death blow to Overwatch 1. After all, why play the game when it's just a waiting room for the sequel?
Also true. Stupid idea.
COVID annihilated excitement for the game because of online play, but now the whole league was blindsided by finding out that they were playing a game that didn't even matter anymore. Not to mention the fact that Overwatch 2 was moving from 6v6 to 5v5 in an attempt to cover for Blizzard's total inability to balance the game. That meant that every franchise was going to have to cut a starting player, and pros were not happy.
Wait, you think 5v5 is the solution? How about you balance your game instead next time?
The game keeps getting delayed, and somehow they're going to be playing the next season of the Overwatch League on an unreleased version of Overwatch 2, which doesn't inspire a lot of confidence.
For me, if the game isn't ready and the community gets that initial touch and they're not happy with it...
This is baffling. I didn't know any of this.
In my opinion, really bad for the game, the esport, and potentially Blizzard.
Ultimately, it wasn't one thing that killed
Makes me
Overwatch
some Eric.
esports. It wasn't Mercy or Brigitte or Goats. It wasn't moving to YouTube or planning home and away games.
Hold on, I want to see that. How many viewers do they get on YouTube? Oh, that's not viewers, that's total views. I was gonna say, that's fucking good.
To YouTube or planning home and away games.
Still pretty big.
It wasn't charging insane prices to get into a league that few ended up caring about. It wasn't Valorant or Overwatch 2 either. What killed Overwatch was Blizzard. It was an avalanche of decisions that kneecapped the game before it could really succeed and become the massive esport its fans knew it could be. But the game is still popular. Casual fans love it, and they always have. There's still a good game hiding under all of Blizzard's mistakes.
Oh, let's not get carried away.
The Overwatch League is still chugging along.
There's not a good game
Blizzard
there.
is going to use Overwatch 2 as a fresh start. The question is, can anyone really trust them this time?
Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this...
That was pretty interesting. That actually showed me some things I didn't know about Overwatch 2 and Overwatch. Interesting. Fuck Blizzard. Yeah, fuck Blizzard. Agreed. But the Overwatch 2, am I fucking right? So what is Overwatch 2 supposed to be then? I thought it was like they were adding a story mode. And that was like the big thing. What else? Thanks the resub Sniffy. That's it? That's actually it? New UI, new maps, and a story mode. Oh, 3 new maps. Wow, that's incredible. They've outdone themselves now. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know why they don't just cancel the project. Is there anyone, like, anywhere excited about Overwatch 2? Like, at all? I just can't even imagine it. I am. One guy just stood up. Yes, Charles. Me. They made it for me. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being excited for it, I guess. I don't fucking know. I think the game's trash. Blizzard's by far the most evil company in gaming, but I mean, I'm not your dad. I'm not going to come in there and slap the controller out of your hand and tell you to stop playing. I want to look up, like, current player count for Overwatch. It's got to be sub 2 million by now, right? Hey, thank you for the 5 gift subs, Billings. Let's see. Alright, Overwatch live player count. According to Active Player IO, there is 180,000 estimated concurrent players, but I think that's as of this moment. I want to know for the month. So for the last for the last 30 days, they are averaging 6.7 million concurrent players. They have been consistently losing. Well, actually, they started gaining players in July of this year. Thanks to the gift sub Fat Chocobo. Interesting. Hold on, I'll be right back though. I want to fill up my water. Give me 1 sec. Also, I need to bring Tiana water.